What's up guys, I'm TXL Nomad, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how to build the ultimate sewer base. Timestamps will be down below, and without wasting any time, let's get into it. Alright, so the first thing you're going to want to do is find the vanity tower, and then you're going to want to find Mama's Pizza, and then right there in the middle we have the sewer. So let's head down in. Once you come down the ladder, you're going to come through this section right here. Once you come into this room, you're going to head this way into this hole, come all the way down, and eventually you'll end up in this room right here. So first thing we're going to do is start out with some demolition work. Let's take out all of these bottom poles here, and we're just going to collapse everything in this room. I think what I'm going to do is just edit through this, and then I'll meet you right about now. Alright, so your room should look something like this. Remove that pipe there, and then also remove the ladders at the end of those pipes. And then what we're going to do is come down with our shapes, and we're going to work our way right here off the end of this drain. So you want to come all the way down from the middle until you have a space of 3 right there. And then you're going to start working your way back until you come to that line right there. So same thing over on this side. Come all the way down until you have a space of 3, and then work your way down to that line right there. Okay, so right now it should be looking something like that. And then the next thing you want to do, come over and bring it up one more block. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is come over and we're going to put in a floor. So let's put in our floor coming all the way across. Okay, and then you're pretty much just going to be left with a big block just like that. Then you want to come up from this corner 2 blocks, actually come up 3 blocks, come over 1 space, come up another 3, come to this end, come up 3 blocks, come up 3 more, and then we're just going to close all of this in just like that. Okay, so once again, I don't want anyone to get confused here. So from the wall, a space of 3. And then same thing on this side, space of 3. And then coming out from this doorway, you're going to come over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blocks. The next thing we're going to do is switch over to the cube corner beveled. And what we're going to do is take this piece and we're going to run it along the front, the whole bottom. So let's just do that really quick. We're going to flip it over on its side, come down the side like this, all the way to the end. And then we're also going to do that on this side as well. Come all the way down, and then your base should be looking something like that. Alright, so the next piece we're going to use is a cube corner beveled outside corner. Grab that, place that down in that corner, come over to this side, place it down in that corner, and then we're actually going to be grabbing the cube corner beveled once again, and we're going to be creating some pods here. So flip this upside down just like that, place that right there, place another one there. So it should be looking something like that. So the next thing we want to do is square in this area. So we're going to go like that up the side. So turn this on its side just like that, come up like that, switch it around this direction, and then on the side right there. So you're going to have them coming up this side, coming up that side, one on the bottom. And then we're also going to put one on the top. And then we're going to bring this down, coming all the way like that. Make sure you stop right there above that window. Flip this on its side, come down like that, and then turn it around and come in like that. So it should look something like this. And then what we're going to do is come back to the cube corner beveled outside corner. And we're just going to fill in all of these corners. Just like that, right there. Fill that in. Come up to this corner, fill that corner in, and then come over to this side and then fill that in. Now the next thing we're going to do, let's grab the electric fence posts, and we're going to come over and slap them down in each one of these pods just like that. So that's going to be where we put our electric fence posts. Now let's come back over, grab the cube corner beveled, and we're going to come all the way down, line this up a length of 3, and then come over to this side. Do the same thing in a length of 3. Make sure you skip 1 spot there for the window, and then do this upside down just like that. Come out another 3 blocks, and then do the same thing on this side as well. Okay, so the next shape we're going to go for is just going to be the regular ramp. So grab that. And then what we're going to do is angle this to go inside. So we're going to have this ramp shape angled in just like that. And we're going to come all the way up to right about there. So you're going to come up a total of 4 blocks. And then we're going to do the same thing on this side as well. So the ramp's going to be facing inwards like that. And then just come all the way up until you get to that pipe right there. And then boom. That's pretty much done. Okay, so let's come back over to this regular square block and we're going to fill in the roof. So come all the way down on the roof. And then we're going to fill it in just like that. And then this next part can be a little bit tricky, so make sure you pay attention. All right, so we're going to come over to this lantern and we're going to copy this shape and we're going to come out 2 blocks. So not right there, but right there in the middle. Let's remove that. Place that in like so. And then we're going to copy this pole shape. So copy that pole, place that right there like that. Remove this whole lantern. We're not going to need that whatsoever. And one thing you can do, copy the shape on the ceiling and just fill that in. Then we're going to put a lantern right on the bottom like that. And then that's going to give us our lighting. So let's go back to the regular cube shape. And we're going to bring that down on the top of this all the way down. So just come all the way down like that. And then what you're going to do is come back to this ramp shape. You're going to want to face it upwards just like that. And then run this all the way down just like so. And then you're going to come over to the side, run it all the way down the side just like that. And then what we're going to do is come over to this side and we're going to do the same thing over here. So let's run it all the way down just like that. Okay, so we're going to fill in these corners as well. So come back to the shapes and we're going to come to the ramp outside corner full. So grab that shape and then just fill in that corner and then come all the way down here. And we're going to fill in that corner as well. Then we're going to come back into the shapes and we're going to grab the wedge 60 tip. So grab the wedge 60 tip, come over to these sides here. And we're just going to like blend these sides up in so it looks a little bit nicer. Just like that. And then we're going to come all the way over to this side. We're going to do the same thing, coming all the way down. And then the next shape you're going to want, come back into the wedge shape section and we're going to grab the wedge 60 tip corner top. So once you have that piece, come over to this corner, whoops, and we're going to fill that in and that's just going to blend it in. And then we're going to come all the way down to this side and we're going to fill that in as well. So that's pretty much the outline of it. And I think that's looking pretty good. So I think what we're going to do now is start placing in the windows. So come over to the pole section and just grab the regular pole. It should be the pole placed in the corner like that. We're going to grab that piece and we're just going to put a ledge right here on this front pod. So put a ledge there and then come down, put another ledge there. And then we're going to go into shapes and then we're going to go to the security gate plate. So grab the security gate plate, advance, rotate it until it looks something like that. We're going to place those in just like so. And then what you want to do, come back to the pole and we're just going to close this in so it looks a little bit nicer. So place one there, come all the way down, place one there, actually place 2 there, just like that. Rotate this. Then we're going to place one on top. So it should be looking something like that. The next shape that we're going to use is the pole corner. So make sure you grab that and we're just going to fill in that corner there. And then we're going to come over, fill that in, rotate it, fill in that side, so on and so forth until you have all of these corners filled up. All right, guys, so that's coming along pretty nice. The next step to this build, we're going to come over to the catwalk section. So we're just going to grab the catwalk V2 plate. Make sure you have that flipped up on its back, just like this. And then we're going to come over to the walkway, come all the way down, but don't go any further than that spot right there. And then we're just going to bring this all the way down to the wall right there. So that should line up nice and flush, just like this. As you can see, that's going to give us our floor for the back. Okay, so it should look something like that. You're going to be able to run out in here. We're going to have the fighting position just like that. And then everything's nice and flush. and so on and so forth. So the next thing we're going to do, remove these middle pipes right there, and we're going to be placing down a generator. So really quick, let's just fill that up with some engines, refuel it, and then we'll come back to that in a minute. Okay, so your base should be looking something like this at this point, and then the next thing we're going to do is come over here and start making the fighting position. So you want to come over here, take out that front and that middle. Same thing with this one, take out the front and middle, and then this one at the end, take out the front and middle as well. Then we're going to take this shape here, which is the cube half, and we're going to advance rotate that around just like that so it's on its face, and then we're going to bring it out all the way to the end. Whoops. All right, come back up, make sure it's coming out just like that. Now we're going to come to the bottom and we're going to come out two just like that, and then at this end one, come out two more. Now we're going to come back into the shapes, grab the wedge 60 tip, and then we're going to fill this in just like this. Put that like that, put another one there, and then come all the way down and put one just like that. Okay, so the next stage of this build, we're going to be getting rid of this section here on the wall. So get rid of that, and then come down to this side and get rid of that as well. All right, so it should look something like that. Let's come back over to the shapes for a minute, and we're going to come into the round section, and we're going to grab this shape here, the pillar 1-4 triple. So take that and advance rotate it up on its face like that, and put one there, come all the way down, put one there, and then put one just like that. And then we're going to come all the way down. So you're going to come up 2 blocks and then come all the way down just like this, guys. And that's going to connect those pipes to this one going all the way across just like that. So that's going to connect all of those. I'll give you a look really fast so you can see. It should be looking something like that. Then we're going to come back into shapes and grab the pole side centered. And now what we want to do with that is come over to the middle of the fighting position, rotate it up just like that, and then come all the way down to the end just like that. So yeah, that's how the zombies are going to path over to the fighting position. And the next thing we need to do is create some ramps on the end. So just come into ramps, and what we're going to do is put 2 just like that, and then put 2 more just like that. So we're going to have the ramps coming up just like so. And then another thing we're going to do, we're going to flip it upside down, and then we're just going to fill it in on the bottom there. So we're going to come all the way down on this side, put it just like that, put 2 more right there, and then like I said, flip it upside down and fill that in just like that. Okay, so the next thing that you're going to want to do is actually remove all of these. So just trust me, you're going to want to remove those pieces right there. Whoops, I broke through the floor, because we need to put a ramp shape coming in. So we're going to put a ramp shape like that, and then over on this side, we're going to put another ramp shape, and then we're going to close it in just like that. So come over to this side, close it in right there, and then we're just going to come all the way to this end, and we're going to do the same thing. Close it in, put another one on that side. We're going to remove these pieces in here and just do the same thing. And this is so zombies won't get stuck. They can just like run up the ramp and they have no spot to get stuck. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is build a fighting position. So let's come over to shapes, and we're going to come over to the catwalks, and we're going to grab the railing. So grab the railing shape, and what you want to do is come on the inside, and you want it to be facing outwards. So just like that, we're going to come in, face it out like so. Then we're going to switch over to another shape, and we're going to come into the square, grab the pole double. So run that across the top just like that. And then we're also going to run another one across. Whoops. We're going to run one across the bottom like that as well, just to give it some extra protection. And then on the inside, we're going to close it in with another one on the back. So that's going to leave you with like this nice little block, and it gives you plenty of protection, and you can repair that, and you'll also be able to repair through it as well. Okay, so that's pretty much the front of the fighting position done. Let's come over to these security grates. We're going to come make some windows on this side. So let's just fill these in on their side, And then we'll come over here and do the same thing. Okay, and then we can also put some borders around those windows, but I will come back to that. So another thing we're going to do is remove this. So we're going to remove that because we're going to have a wall that comes down, and that's going to lead down to the turrets. So we're going to do this section next, but we will come over on this side, and right in the middle here, you want to come up 2 blocks, and then we're going to put a door right there. So directly under that pipe, we're going to be putting another door, and then we're going to be using the cube half shape and putting like a nice little walkway right there. So let's come back over to this side, remove that, and then we're going to put another one just like that because, hold on a sec, we're going to be removing this going all the way up, and we're going to be placing a ladder right there. So you're going to climb up the ladder, then you're going to get on the edge, and then this is going to lead all the way down to the turrets. But like I said, we'll come back to that. Okay, so the next thing you want to do is come out here, remove these security grates, just get rid of all of them. And then you also need to come over here and remove these steel blocks. Alright guys, so I did just record myself digging that out, but I don't feel like I explained it well at all. So I came over to a backup save, and we're just going to redo it, and then we'll jump back to the save where we have the base. But I feel like I'd be doing you an injustice if I didn't do this over and try to explain it better. So what you're going to do is come up here. We're going to take out these security grates. Just make sure you pay attention to this part, guys. I don't want you to get all messed up right here. Okay, so once you come into this room, you're going to see this little section here in the middle. And what you want to do is come back 4 blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to be putting a wall right there. But we can worry about that later. So now what you want to do, now that we have this section, you basically just want to dig out a big square going all the way down. So let's start right here. We're going to dig all the way down until we get to the end of this tunnel. You guys remember I said you have to get rid of these steel blocks. We're going to do that over really quick. And then we're just going to dig this out a little bit. So as you can see, we have this tunnel, and then you can see we have a wall right there as well. We only want to dig as far as this wall. So let's keep going. And then we also need to make sure that this room here, it needs to come up 4 blocks. So we'll get to that, but this room is basically just going to be like a lot of digging, guys. I apologize ahead of time, but as long as you can stick with it, we're going to have this base done in no time at all. So just come in here, get rid of all of this stuff. As you can see, we're pretty much flush with where we need to be. We're also going to come in here, and we're going to take out this whole tunnel section. So just like that, take out all of this. Get rid of that. Okay, so let's just keep going down. This part is going to be a little bit boring, but it's actually really important. So I want you guys to definitely pay attention here if you're trying to build this base. Okay, so once you come all the way down to the end of this tunnel, you're going to notice that there's already a wall there. So we're actually going to keep that wall, take that back, get rid of that ceiling, and pretty much just like that. So all we need to do is make sure that this pipe in here needs to be at least 3 blocks long. So 1, 2, 3, that's the length we want that tunnel to be. So what we're going to do now is just get rid of this, and we're going to come all the way down. Okay, so we got this tunnel on the end. We have this tunnel in the middle, and then we have this tunnel here. And what we're going to have to do is come up to this tunnel, copy shape and rotation, and we're just going to simply build this tunnel out so it's flush with these. It's really simple. Just copy rotation, do the bottom corner, do that corner, and then once you do the bottom like that, you're pretty much finished. So then we're going to put some blocks in here, and now as you can see, all of these tunnels are nice and flush. We want to come over, get rid of this asphalt right there. We're going to get rid of it all the way around. Okay, we are looking good. So we need a hole right in the center. That's going to be where the turret goes. And then we're going to come down to this end. So we need to like dig out all of this. We need to put a wall here at the end. So like I said, right where this tunnel ends, that's where this wall is going to go. So make sure that you only have this little bit of the tunnel showing. I mean, I guess you could make it bigger if you wanted to or whatever, but for this build, we're not going to. And I I don't recommend you making this area any bigger. Okay, there we go right there. Now we're going to take out this middle block, and that's the reason you want this to be 5 blocks wide, because it's going to come over 1, 2 blocks, hole for the turret, and then 2 more blocks. That way it keeps it even. Okay, so let's get rid of this back wall here, and we're just going to simply fill that in. And then the whole part where I'm going to be digging up to the surface, that part is going to be really important, because if you don't get those measurements right, it's not going to come out good at all. So let's get rid of that tunnel section, and then we're going to come down here, and we're going to get rid of this as well, because what we're going to do is just fill this in. So we're going to fill it in, block these tunnels off completely, almost like they never existed at all. Okay, good enough. So now that we've done that, the next thing we want to do, grab the cube corner half, and like I said earlier, you want it to be 3 blocks, so the tunnel is going to go 1, 2, 3. We already did this in the other save, I know, but I'm just redoing it so that way I can remind you guys a little bit. We will jump back to our original save in just a minute here. So the next thing you want to do after that, come into shapes. We're going to grab the wedge 60 tip once again, place one there, place one at the end, and then place one at the end like that. And we're going to grab this shape right here, the wedge 60 slope tip. Pretty simple. We're just going to be closing in all of these corners so that way zombies don't get stuck. And plus, I think it just makes it look cooler. So just like that. So when zombies fall down in, they're not going to try to run over here and like get stuck on this corner or whatever. They're just going to be able to run right up and around. So it should be looking something like this. And then what you want to do, and this is really important, guys, so pay attention right here. You want to come over 3 blocks. So 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to start digging out a hole. That's just an area of 2. So 2 by 2 by 2 all the way around. So we're going to dig that out, go all the way up to the surface, just like this, just like that. And then what you want to do, come over 2 blocks, 1, 2. This is going to be our next hole, area of 2. And then we want to make sure that this ceiling here comes over 2 blocks. So let's remove that really quick. So, yep, there it is. 1, 2, hold on a sec. Let me come down here. So 1, 2, 3, hole. 1, 2, hole. 1, 2. Yep, and that's it, hole. And then you can see this comes over only 2. So it is a little uneven, but that's just how it has to be. So the end here is going to come over a total of 3 blocks. Then you're going to do a hole, 2 blocks, hole, 2 blocks, hole. And like I said, each one of these holes is just going to be an area of 2 by 2 going all the way around. And you're just going to dig straight up to the surface, just like so. So there's that one. Let's come in the middle and do this. You want to come all the way up against the wall, dig straight up, and just do this 2 by 2 hole. And then, yeah, so you can already see, guys, I mean, this is coming along pretty nice. Once you get that done, I mean, the majority of this room is pretty much finished. Let's finish putting in the ceiling, just like that. So I guess we are only going to go up 3 blocks, guys. There's no real need to go up 4. I mean, you can, but you definitely don't need to. So, okay, we have this hole in the middle. We have this hole over here, and then we have this one at the end. So this is coming out really nice. The next thing we want to do, we're going to get rid of all of these, get rid of all of this asphalt, and we're just going to fill this in, coming all the way up to the surface, just like that. Come down to the middle one, and we're just going to keep doing the same thing. Fill it in, and I'm actually going to leave the top one empty because we're going to be putting in some cube corner beveled pieces to close that in up top. So let's just go up top really quick now, and I'll show you what we're going to do. So now that we've come up here, remove that. Okay, so let's go into shapes really quick, and we are going to grab the cube corner beveled, and we're just going to put that on its side, just like that. Then we're going to put the cube corner beveled like that. Put the cube corner beveled facing in like that, and then we're going to do the same thing over here as well. This hole here is going to be beveled down in, and they're going to fall in. So the next thing that you really want to do, I guess, is just like get rid of all this extra asphalt here and just fill this in with cement. Boom, just like that. So when you come out, it's just a nice clean tunnel. And then the next thing we're gonna do, get rid of each one of these corners. Oh, whoops. I already got rid of that corner. Whoops. Okay, so now come into your shapes. This is another important part. Get the cube corner beveled corner. So we're gonna grab that piece, and then we're just gonna close in this structure here, or this entrance, I should say. So we're gonna use the cube corner beveled corner, and we're gonna close that in just like that. Next thing we're gonna do, let's take this out, and the way how we start from here, we're gonna use this cube corner beveled piece, and then just back to back like that. We're gonna put 2 there, and then we're gonna use another corner right there, come over to this corner, put another corner like that. So as you can see, we're just gonna basically do that going all the way down to the end there. And I hope this is helping you guys figure out how to do this. It's really not too difficult, but I can imagine like watching the video, I really went fast through the video, and it's probably annoying if you're trying to build something like this, but so you come over 2 more. Now we're gonna do that corner piece, so let's just copy this shape. Once again, close in the corners, just like that. Cube corner beveled, turn it like that. Okay, so now as you can see, we have 2 holes going down in. Now we just need this last one, so what we're gonna do is clear that area out, take the cube beveled, just put 2 right there in the middle, come down to the end here, so we need to remove those 2 blocks, that corner. We need to remove those 2 and then that corner. So we're gonna do cube corner bevel on those 2, and then 2 more just like that. And then we're gonna fill this in right there, fill that corner in. We need to remove that just like that. Another thing actually, guys, you know what I did in my other save was I didn't have this end right here beveled. I just basically got rid of this all the way down because I remember now having an issue with the ladders. So what I did was just use a regular square. Yeah, so just run that down going all the way down just like that. So that way the ladders come up, and that's how it's actually supposed to look. I mean, you could just use squares. You don't have to do that if you don't want to, but I just think it looks a lot better. So the next step of this is really just simple. We need to get rid of all the asphalt on the inside, and we just need to like fill out these areas with concrete. Okay, and then once we close it in. So yeah, as you can see, guys, that closes it in, that closes it in. I'm not going to bother on this side because you already see what I'm doing here. I'm just basically filling in all of the access. So another thing you're going to do, make sure you place ladders on each one. So you're going to have ladders coming down on this side, and then you're going to have ladders coming down this side as well, all the way down, just like this, to the very bottom. Okay, so that is this area done. I'm going to jump back to the other save now, and then we're going to move on to the next part. We still have to do the garden. We have to set up all the traps. I'm going to show you how the blade traps work, stuff like that. All right, guys, so now we are going to put in the blade trap. So just make sure you pay attention here. You're going to come into shapes, and you're going to grab the pillar 0.5 meter. Okay, so once you have the pillar 0.05 meter, come over to the fighting position, and then right down next to this pole, we're going to place one in the corner right there. And then you're going to come down to here, place another one right there. And then what you need to do is come over, and we actually need to remove this ramp shape right there. So just so you guys know, that shape is called the ramp outside corner full. And you just need to remove that one right there, because we're going to be placing a pillar in there just like that. And you don't really need it, so I wouldn't worry. Zombies can still run around, and they're going to go up just fine. And then you're going to place another one just like that. So once you've done that, you're going to come over to your blade traps, and you're going to place one right there, place another one on that, and just going all the way down. We're going to be placing them on these pillars. So that way when zombies come down the tunnel, they're going to get chopped up by these. And then especially this one, they're going to get hit every time they come over to the fighting position. So they're going to fall down, they're going to loop up around, and then as you can see, we're going to have 4 blade traps taking them out. Okay, so that's how you set up the blade traps. The next thing we're gonna do is head in over here and we're gonna start setting up the turret. So once you come over to this side, one thing that we can do is we can copy shape and we can just fill that back in, because the only thing we're gonna be placing here is a ladder, and you want the ladder to start right there. So it's gonna come up 2 blocks. That way you're gonna be able to jump up here and get onto this ledge. And then we're going to be coming down all the way down here until we basically just get to that wall with the turret. So let's just keep digging down. We're going to be having a pathway that comes all the way down, just like this. And then as you can see, you're going to be able to run down here and have access to this turret. And one thing I would do is probably just clean this room out a bit, because, I mean, you can leave it just looking like this underground. It's not really a big deal, but what I usually do is get rid of all of this excess sandstone here, and then I'm just gonna fill it in with regular blocks. So just come all the way down. We're gonna put in a little bit of a roof there. And yeah, so you're gonna be able to come down, have access to that turret. And another thing that you might do is even bring the ceiling up 1 more block. So yeah, I feel like this is pretty self-explanatory. I mean, you can really bring this out a couple more, which I probably would. I would probably come down 1 more block just to make it look a little bit nicer. So there, now you have your little chamber here, so you can come in, have access to this turret, and then you're going to be able to run all the way back down, and then you're going to have a doorway right here. We're going to put a steel door. So the last thing you would do would be to get rid of all of these blocks going all the way down, and then just fill them all in with cement, just like that. And I think that looks pretty good, guys. Now you have your entrance over here in this little drain section, and then you're going to be able to run all the way down, have access to your turret, and then yeah, I just really like this spot, guys. And then you're going to probably want an area. I usually put it right there, and then I'll take out this back block, place one in there, and then we're probably going to be placing a relay in there. And then also we're going to be coming out here, and I'll show you really quick. So we're going to do the dart traps. You want to make sure you come up 2 blocks. So just come up 2 blocks, put a hole right there. And as you can see, this goes into this room as well. So what we're going to do now is just take a dart trap and make sure it's facing outwards like that. Place it in just like that. And then we're going to also come all the way down on this side, come up 2 blocks, put a hole in just like so. And then make sure your dart trap is facing outwards like that, and then place another one in there. So that is pretty much the setup for the blade traps and then the dart traps as well. So like I said, once you come in this room, you're going to be able to come down, access the dart traps, and then you're also going to be able to come down and access the turret. And you can also bring this roof up a block if you want to, just to have a little more space, but you definitely don't really need to. Alright guys, so it's the same thing over here. We're going to come down probably about, let's see, we want this to come down 2 blocks, and then we're going to just come in right about here. So yeah, we're going to come right around the corner here, go all the way down, access to the dart trap. That's why it really is kind of important that you only come over this many blocks, because you want to be able to have a tunnel where you have access to your dart trap. Okay, so as you can see, pretty simple. You're just going to come down, get rid of this wall as well on this side, and then you're going to have access to this turret as well. So the same thing over here. We're just going to clean all of this out, and then we're going to fill it in with cement. Come all the way down the side, just like this, and then just start laying in your blocks. We'll actually bring this out just a little bit more. If I was doing this build and it wasn't just for a showcase, I would definitely bring the ceiling up 1 more block, so that way we'd have more room in here. But for now, I mean, like I said, you don't really need that. You just need to be able to come down here and access your turret. And then what I would do in this corner here, just to clean this up a bit, I would come into this ramp shape, flip it on its side, and put it in like that, just to kind of smoothen it out. So when you come down here, as you can see, we come to the turrets. And then once you come all the way down, you're probably going to want to get rid of a block there. So let's get rid of 2. We're going to place a block in, place a block down like that. Then let's just remove that sand, fill that in. And then what we're probably going to do is be placing a relay right there as well. So there's going to be a relay coming from the generator connecting to this. And then this is going to come down, connect to the dart trap. and then it's going to come down to the turret. So, all right, that's your sections there for the turrets. So what I usually do is just place a turret in just like that, facing outwards. And then we're going to come over to this side and we're going to place another one in just like that. And then I'm going to come into shapes and I'm going to grab this pole shape right here. After you grab that, come to the bottom of the turret, place one right there for a little bit of a lip, and then place another one on the bottom there. And we're just going to close this in. So you go all the way around, close it in like that, come over to this side, and we're just going to do the same thing on this side, just like that. So the next shape we're going to go for is going to be the little pole corner. Make sure you grab that. And then we're just going to clean up these edges here, make it a complete border going around it. Come over to the other side, just like that. The next shape you're going to want to go for, come down to construction and grab the security gate plate. Then we're just going to grab that, flip it up on its side like so, and we're going to fill that in. And then we're going to come down on this side and just do the same thing. So that is pretty much the turret setups right there. Next thing you're going to want to do, come down to these doorways, place a steel door in there just like that, and then come over to this side, and then same thing, we're going to place a steel door in there. And then you can also create this border over here on this door as well, but you definitely don't really have to. One thing you do need to do though, you need to get rid of these half blocks going all the way up. And then we're going to come down to this shape, copy rotation, fill that in, come back to the ladder, and just make sure you have two going up, just like that. So you want to be able to come up here and climb right up onto this little ledge. You'll be able to open this door. You're going to have a relay right there. You'll have access to your dart trap, and then we have access to the turret. The next thing I'm going to do really quick is just kind of paint this up a bit. So what I usually do is come into metal riveted. So I'm going to grab that color, and then we're just going to go into paint surface, and we're going to do the whole top like that. Make sure you get underneath and stuff. Just kind of make it look like rugged iron. Do the borders, and I just paint it this color. It gives it that kind of ugly sewer look, like it's some cement that's been down in the sewer for like a number of years or something. And I just think it kind of, I don't know, I think it's kind of fitting, right? You got a base down here in the sewer. At one point it was made out of regular concrete, and then it just started to like rot and decay. So now you have your Ninja Turtle base. And then what we're going to do, let's grab that raw iron color again, and we're just going to paint these poles here for the blade traps. Then we're going to copy this green color, and then we're just going to do the ramps this green color. All right, not too bad. And then the color that I like to paint these poles and stuff, so come back into colors here, grab that medicine cabinet, and we're just going to paint these pipes with that color right there, just like so. We'll paint this as well, coming all the way down. I mean, yeah, guys, this paint job isn't going to be perfect or anything. I'm just kind of doing it just to show you really quick, like how I would paint this. But this video is really for building, not for painting and stuff like that. However, I do want it to look nice down here while we're building, so I'm just going to finish painting it up a bit. Alright guys, so before we go any further, we're going to come back over here really quick, and we're going to get rid of these ladders. And then we're actually going to get rid of this whole bottom section down here. Then we're going to fly over to this other side. We're going to do the same thing. Get rid of this whole bottom section down here. You can leave that piece if you want. We actually want our ladders to come up like this. So we want to jump up onto the ladder. That way zombies don't try to path up here and like, I don't know, maybe they're going to path up there and they're going to try to get to the fighting position somehow. Whoops, I just got stuck on that corner. And yeah, that's just not something we want. When your ladder's only up one block, they can get on it. So you want it up like that. And then also having that ramp there gives them a chance to just kind of walk up as well. So all you have to do is jump up, and then you can get up like that. All right, so with that out of the way, we're going to head up topside, and we're going to start working on the fighting position to help with like bird mitigation, stuff like that. So the first thing you want to do, I took some measurements. We're going to be coming out from this block here. So if you want to just take a look, and you can probably figure out how far that is away. But the other thing is, the way you build this structure doesn't really matter. So I'm just going to show you. We're going to be coming out. So if you look down here at this last hole, you're going to come over one block, come all the way down a straight line, and then you're going to put your first one in. So let's count these blocks out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you want to come out 6 blocks from here, set down your first corner, and then when you come over to this side, you want to come to this corner block, and you want to come out another 6 blocks, place down a block, and then you want to create this L shape just like that. And then from this space, go 1, 2, 3, 4, and on the 5th one, create another L just like that. Come over 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and on the 5th block, create another L, 1, 2, 3, 4, create your L. And then once you have your structure built up like that, we're going to bring it up just a little bit further. So we're going to come up 2 more layers just like that. Come over here, 1, 2, just like that. Come back over. We're going to bring these up a total of 4 blocks. So yeah, the height for this is going to be 4 blocks. Okay, so the next thing you're going to want to do, come back into shapes, grab the cube corner beveled. And what we're going to do is just kind of flip it upside down. Okay, so you're going to come up 1, 2, 3. Bring this across just like that. Come over to this side, do the same thing. Oh, I ran out of shapes. So bring that all the way down, just like that. You will still be able to go under here, but I'm telling you right now, the way you build this structure right here is not really a big deal. You basically just need a platform that you can set turrets on, and then zombies are gonna get taken out, is all it is. So now we're gonna bring this across like that. And actually, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna remove these end blocks. We're only gonna keep this corner block there. I'll show you why in a minute. So just keep these corner blocks, get rid of everything else up top. Okay, so then once you close all of these sides in, what we're gonna do is get rid of these corner blocks one at a time, just like that. Come back into shapes, and what we're gonna do is grab the cube corner beveled outside corner. So just grab that shape, close in all of your corners up here, just like that, and then just go all the way around, just like so. The next thing we're gonna do is come in here, and we're gonna be putting down a floor. So grab your cube half shape right there, flip it upside down just like this, and we're gonna come all the way around, and we're just gonna make a floor on the inside. Okay, not too bad. So as you can see, we have our structure right there, and this is just going to be taking out birds when they fly above you when you're at the fighting position. The next thing we're going to do, come down under, and we're just going to grab the ramp shape, and we're going to like tighten this up a bit down here. So just come up like that. So yeah, it looks like it's kind of holding on this top part, and you don't have to do that, but I just chose to do that. The next thing I'm gonna do is come over to the paint colors, and I'm just gonna pick this metal riveted color, paint surface, paint all sides, and then we're just gonna like paint this whole thing here, and then we're just gonna paint everything like that. And what we're gonna do now is come up to this top section, and we're gonna come into the square shape. So come into square, and we're literally just going to create, whoops, hold on a sec. I want that to be even. So let's get rid of that. And then now what we're going to do is come back into shapes, grab the ramp, and then we're going to make this square surface just a little bit uneven right here. So if you come out like that on each corner, it's going to give this shape an illusion that the square is going diagonal, which is perfect for what we're doing. It's also in the shape of like a big diamond. You can look at it that way. Okay, so once you close that in, come back into your paint colors, and you're just gonna grab this color here, the metal rust green, and we're just gonna paint that just like that. And then the next thing we're gonna do is just place some turrets up here. So we're gonna have one facing out like that, one facing out that way, one facing out like that, and then the other one just like that. So this is going to take care of like any birds or whatever that might want to try and fly over in the fighting position. So when you're fighting in Horde Night, the birds are going to be flying around right up here because this is above where you're at, and I can tell you right now they're not going to stand a chance with that setup right there. So the only other thing that you might want to do is probably put like a ladder coming up. So just put one like that. As long as you can run over and like jump up here, you should be fine. You can put it on the inside, do whatever you want with that. For me, that's not really the cleanest setup, so I think what I'll do is probably just put like a regular block. Whoops, put a regular block right there. Hold on a sec. Copy this color, and yeah, we'll just paint that. And then we're just gonna have that one little section right there kind of just blend in. So you'll be able to run over here, climb up, jump to the top of the roof, set up all your turrets, stuff like that. Another thing I would do is come over and just set down a generator right there, and then you can connect your turrets to that. So yeah, that's going to be your spot for bird mitigation. Let's come over here and just copy this paint texture, and then we're going to just paint this really quick, make that look a little bit better. Come on the inside. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it, guys. Like I said, you can come up with any designs that you want. You can make a different looking platform if you want to. I just wanted to do something kind of like nice and clean. You can obviously come up with any like different kind of paint schemes you want. I think this looks really nice. Kind of gives you that feel like this is all part of the sewer somehow. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is go work on the crafting room. Then we're going to set up the garden. And then another thing we're going to do is hook up all of these traps and stuff. So, all right, let's come down here. We're going to go to the crafting room, and we're basically just going to clean all of this up, clean that up, get rid of this whole wall right here, just like that. All right, so we got that. Let's take out this middle section here. And what we're going to do is just basically fill this in with regular blocks. We don't want any of that dirt showing, so just come all the way up like that, and then fill in the ground right there. Whoops. And then just fill the floor in. Looks like we got a block up there as well. Remove that block. We don't want that. And then get rid of this guy. And then we're also going to be getting rid of this whole pipe right here. That's pretty much just in the way. So yeah, we'll come back to this. All right, so the next thing we're gonna do, just come into this room and just clean it up. So what I'm gonna do is clean this whole room up, and I'm gonna edit through it. So I'll meet you again right about now. So as you can see, guys, that was actually pretty quick, and I just got rid of everything in this room. So another thing we're gonna do, we're gonna be getting rid of this ceiling up here. All of this just looks dumb. We don't really need this curved in like that. So we're gonna clean up the whole ceiling, and I'll meet you when I'm done with that. Okay, so as you can see, once you get rid of all of that stuff on the ceiling, you are left with a regular ceiling just like that. Clean up all of this. And then the first thing we're gonna do is come over here, and we're gonna be putting a door right here, I believe. And then the other thing is we might want to actually bring this wall out one more block. So yeah, I mean, you can do basically whatever you want in this room. I mean, this is just going to be a crafting room, but we are going to be putting a door here, and then we're going to be coming out this way, and we're going to be putting a garden in that room. So the first thing you want to do is knock out a bunch of these stones, because you're going to be making a little room in here, and that's going to be like where you place your generator and stuff. And then we're going to have a door right about here, and then that's going to lead down into the garden. So you want to clear this out like I just said, turn this into a little room. All right, and then what I'm probably going to do is actually come up one more block. We want the ceiling to be up there. All right, guys, so we actually are going to be bringing this room out one block on each side. So make sure you pay attention right here. So when you come over in this room, it usually only comes out to right there. And then over here, it only comes out that far. And what we're going to do is take out this back wall, and we're just going to bring this out one block. And then when you come over to this side, bring this out one block as well. And then once you fill all of this in, another thing we're going to do, we're going to bring these stairs out one step. And then over here, we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to bring the stairs out like that. And then we're going to come over here. We're going to remove those blocks just like that. We're just going to come to these stairs, copy rotation. And then we're going to come over here, and we're going to set some stairs in just like that. So that's going to clean up this room really nice. Make sure you take a look. You can see the line of new blocks going around. So this room comes out one block on that side, and then one block at the end. And that's going to be really important for the garden, so all the measurements are correct. So definitely make sure you pay attention to this next part as well. So what you're going to do, once you've brought your room out one block on each side, you're going to come over here, and you're going to come over a total of 2 blocks. Then you're going to put a doorway right there. And then when you come into this room, it's just going to be a room that's 3 by 3. And then you're going to have one block here with a door. and it's going to go up a total of 3 blocks. So that's just this little room here. You see the doorway, 1 block, 3, 1 block, doorway in the middle, go up 3. So you can see this room here. It's just a room of 3 by 3, just like that. Little small room here, and then we're just going to be placing a generator right there in the middle. Okay, so once you're done with this little room here, you're going to come over and right in the middle, you're going to put a little doorway, and then you're going to enter the garden room. And I'm going to show you all the measurements for this so you don't get it wrong. And this is really important because if you get anything wrong, it's just not going to come out right at all. So let's get right into it. Once you're looking at the door here, you want to come over a total of 2 blocks, come over 2 blocks. Then you're going to put this ramp shape in, and you're going to come over 2 more. So you want to come over 2 blocks, ramp shape out 2, regular block here, 3, and then ramp shape again, out 2. So just take a nice look at that corner right there and you can see what's going on. This is going to make it so we're able to come over and set the dew collector in just like that. And then this room is going to be a total of 3 blocks high as well. So you want to come over 2 blocks, put your ramp shape in coming out 2. And then down in here, it's going to be 3 blocks with a ramp shape of 2. And then you're going to build your wall coming out 8 blocks. So then from this ramp end right there, you want to build your wall out 8 blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then place in a wall just like this. And then you're just going to mirror what you did over on this side right over here. So if you look, 2 blocks, ramp comes out 2 blocks. Then you put a wall of 3 right there, put a ramp coming out 2 more, and then this wall is going to be 8 blocks long, going up 3 blocks. So yeah, just make sure you take a look at this really quick and get these measurements right because this is really important. Otherwise, you're going to dig out to the street and then your hole going up is not going to be lined up with the side of like the sidewalk where we want it to be. So this is pretty important that you get this room right. And with that being said, what we're going to do next is just come over here. And as you can see, our dew collector is going to set in nice and neat, just like that. So that's going to give us our 2 dew collectors. And then we want to come directly in the center here. And right where this block is, we're just going to dig all the way up. So you're going to dig up to the surface, and basically what you're going to do is just do that all the way to the end of the wall. So just dig a hole going up just like this all the way until you get to the end right there. Okay, so as you can see, we have our garden room right now, and I think this is looking pretty good. Keep in mind, you can make this room longer if you want to. You can even make it a little bit wider if you want to, so you can put in like 4 dew collectors. So yeah, the next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna come up here to the street, just like this, and you can see here, we're right next to the sidewalk. And that's really important. You want your measurements to bring you out right here. So that way, when we tie this all together, it's going to blend into the sidewalk. Because if you end up messing up on your measurements, you're going to be out here or something, and it's just not going to look right. Okay, so with that being said, the next thing we're going to do, just come over to the sidewalk here, and we're going to remove these strips right here, these white strips. We're not going to need those. Those are pretty much just in the way. And yeah, in case you didn't know, this hole here is so that light can come down to your farm plots. Can't have an underground garden without some kind of light coming through. So let's just come over here, copy shape. So we're going to copy this sidewalk shape, and this is just called the concrete plate. Once you grab that shape right there, you're going to come out to the very end, and what you want to do is come down like this. We're not going to be putting one there in that corner. I'll show you why in a second. So you're going to come all the way down just like that, put another one there, and then put one there. So next thing you want to do is come over to this corner of the sidewalk, and we're going to copy this shape. This shape is called the concrete plate half triangle. And then once you have this shape, we're just going to come over and we're basically going to tie that in like that. We'll put another plate right there in a minute. Come over down to this side, flip it around, place it in just like that, and that's going to blend our sidewalk in nice and clean. Next thing you want to do, just come back over to the concrete plate, copy that from the sidewalk, just place one in like that. And then the other thing I usually do, guys, I get rid of these broken plates right there, and I'm just going to fill those in like that so it looks a little bit nicer. Then we're going to copy this paint color right there, and we're just going to paint this whole thing just like that. Make sure you get the edges because those aren't going to paint. unless you have paint all sides active, which I don't think I do right now. But okay, so anyways, after you're done painting this, it's going to look something like that. So the next thing that we're going to want to do is come over here. You want to come in here under construction, and then once again, we're going to grab the security gate plate. All right, so once you grab that shape, you're just going to come over just like that. Actually, you know what I usually do is face it going that way. And then we're just going to line it up coming all the way down. And then the light's going to be able to shine through that so our farm plots can grow. And then, yeah, it's going to look something like that. Let's come over. We're going to copy this paint texture, the metal riveted. And then we're just going to go to the regular paintbrush and we're going to paint those security grates down in like that. And then like another thing I did on my other playthrough, I think I actually brought this out even further. So I put a hole right there. I'll show you what I did there. So let's come out one more block just like that. We're going to copy this plate, put one in. Oops, let me get rid of this. Put one in like that. Remove that triangle there. And then what I did was I grabbed this electrical box here, and then I'm just going to set that down pretty much right there. And then we'll put another plate in, and then it kind of just really blends it in with the street, and I think it looks kind of nice like that. Gives it the illusion that this somehow is part of the sidewalk, so when you look down, you can kind of see it just looks like it really is built in like that. So let's go back down into the garden room really quick, and I'll show you what we're going to do next. Okay, so once you come down here, you're going to come in and you're going to put your security gate once again, going all the way down the top right here. We're just going to fill this in. And another part of this that's optional, you can come up in here and like remove all of this sandstone and like asphalt, and you can fill this in with blocks just to clean that up. But I mean, realistically, you don't really need to. This should work just fine. Okay, so what we're going to do next, we're going to come over to our seeds and we're just going to make sure that this works. And then as you can see, this works just fine. So you're going to have a total of 32 farm plots. There's going to be 16 on each side. You have 2 rows of 8. And yeah, we're just going to fill this in. Let this grow up. Make sure you put your lantern right down here in the middle, or you can put it up there if you want to. I usually just place it right there in the middle. So one more thing I almost forgot. We want to come over here to this section, and right over here we're going to shoot up. Whoops, that was only supposed to be 1 block, I think, right there. Hold on, we're just gonna test this out really quick. Let's throw down our dew collector again, grab a square block, and what we're gonna do is just see if that works right there. We just want a hole coming out, so like 1 block, and we want to see if that works for the dew collector. And as you can see, it's working, otherwise this would be red. So that's what we want to do there. So we're gonna come over again to this side, right in the middle, come out 1 block, put a hole there, and we're just gonna shoot all the way up. And then, so what else we're going to do? Let's set that in just like that. Check it. Yep, it works. So we're actually going to come back up top side and we're going to redo this whole sidewalk area. Let's remove that trash pile. I'll clean up this street after, but we're going to come back over to this plate shape and then we're just going to kind of close this in. We only need that hole there. So really quick, close that in, and we're only going to be coming out right to there. So we're going to come around like that, put another plate there, just kind of like close this in just like so. The next thing you're going to do, come up to this sign right here. And as much as I would like to keep that sign, we are going to remove it. Okay, so then we're going to come over here and then we're going to close that in just like that. So the next thing we want to do is come back to this corner sidewalk, and it's just that shape again, the concrete plate, half triangle. And what we're going to do is tie all of this together. So I believe what I did was I removed those something like, I'm not sure. I might have to watch my video really quick and come back to this. Hold on. Okay, so I actually did just watch my video, and it looks like what I did was I didn't bring this out like that. I kind of just went like this and then lined it up something like that. I'll show you here. So let's grab this triangle shape. We're going to close that in there, bring that out just like so, close that in, and then it's going to just come out like that. Then what we're going to do, come over here, get rid of those shapes, and then just close it in just like that. So let's paint those, and that is actually what I did in the video. So if you watch my sewer base video, it's going to look more like this. And I don't know, I almost think it looked better before that. So yeah, I mean, you can play around with this and make it look however you want. I mean, it doesn't have to be like that. I think one thing we would have done over here as well is we wouldn't have had to get rid of this sidewalk shape. So this would have still been right there. Let's grab this paint that. So yeah, that would have looked a little more even. And then it just kind of looks like, you know, cars would have to ride up here and then kind of just go around it. I don't know. I mean, it's not going to look perfect by any means, but what we're going to do to just top this off, we're going to grab the security gate, throw one in there, throw one in like that, copy this paint, the metal riveted, and just paint it in. So yeah, that ties in the sidewalk to your farm plots down below and also your dew collectors. And then the next thing we're going to do is set up all the electrical and set up all the traps and stuff in the base. And then we're going to like decorate and paint at the very end. So without further ado, let's start setting up these traps. Alright guys, so as you can see, we're here in the fighting position, and if you've made it this far in the video, congratulations. You actually do want to learn how to build, and I'm definitely proud of you. So with that out of the way, let's get into it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to come up to these paint colors here, and we're going to grab this bullseye. So get this practice target color. We're going to paint that right up there. That's going to be for the turrets. The next color we're going to grab is going to be this metal stainless steel. We're just going to grab that, paint that right there, come back in, and then we're just going to grab this concrete red, and we're going to place that right above right there, and that's going to be for the dart traps. So right there we're going to place a switch, we're going to place another switch there, that's going to be for the blade traps. The blue is going to be the electric fence post, the bullseye is going to be for the turrets. The next thing we want to do, come over to relays, and we're going to place one up in the corner out back here. Then we're going to come all the way down this way. We're going to place another one in that corner, and then we're going to place another one right up there and that corner right above this door. Okay, so as you can see, I have a generator set up there. That generator is going to go to the turrets, and then this generator is going to hook up to all three of these switches here, because we don't want to like overload just one generator, so we're going to have a secondary generator for the turrets. So right away, let's just come off this generator here and let's connect that to the blade trap switch. Then we're going to come back over, connect that over to the dart traps. Then we're going to come and connect it over to the electric fence posts. So as you can see, you're going to have 3 wires coming off to those 3 switches, just like that. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is come from this dart trap here. We're going to come from this dart trap switch, and we're going to come over to this relay. We're going to come from that relay, and then we're going to come down into this room here to this relay. And then from there, we're just simply going to come over to the dart trap. So that hooks up that dart trap over on that side. The next thing we need to do, come from the switch, and then we're going to come over to this relay up in this corner. Then we're going to come from that, and we're just going to come over to the dart trap right there. So there it is. Let's turn this on really quick, test it out, come over to the switch, and then as you can see, that's lit up yellow, so that's on. Then we're going to come all the way down here, and that's on as well. For some reason, this one isn't making any noise, but I'm almost positive it's on. So either way, you see how that works. So the next thing we're going to do, come over to the blade trap switch, and let's just turn that off really quick. Okay, so come from the blade trap switch, come out to your first trap, just like that. Come off this switch again, come out to the second one, come off it again out to the third one. And then what we're going to do is come out one more time, all the way to this last one here. Let's turn that on. And there you go. You got all your blade traps working just like that. Let's turn that off. Next thing we're going to do, come from the electric fence post switch, come right down to your electric fence post, and then connect that one right over to the other one just like that. So let's test that out. Turn that on. Yep, as you can see, that works. That works. Dart traps work. So that is all 3 of those switches hooked up. And then the last thing we're going to do is come over from this generator, and we're going to connect it over to the turret switch. Now we're going to take this switch here, and we're going to come over to this relay. Now come from that relay all the way down to this one, and then from this one come down to that turret. Now let's come over here. We're going to test that out. Let's turn this generator on, and then let's turn this switch on. Yep, as you can see, it's on. So all we have to do now is just come over from this switch once again up in the corner here. We're going to bring it over to that corner one right there. And then from there, we're going to come, actually, you know what? We're just going to come down in this room. We're going to place a relay against that back wall like I showed you, and then halfway down, place another relay. So right behind the dart trap, you're going to place another one, and then down here you can see that one. So let's just do that again. Actually, hold on. So that one you can see is coming to that relay. From that relay, you're going to come down to this one. From this one, come halfway down to that relay. And then it's really that simple, guys. You're going to come down, connect it to that turret, and as you can see, it's on. So that's pretty much it, guys. That's all of the traps. Let's turn them on really quick. Walk through. As you can see, that works. All the blade traps work. Dart traps on. Turret's on right there. See, it's lit up yellow. Come all the way down. Check this one. That one's on. And then this dart trap is on as well. And now it actually is making noise. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. That's all of the traps set up. If you need to, just pause the video and come back to this part. Let's turn all of these off. Then we're going to come over, turn the generators off. We don't really need those on right now. And then yeah, the way you're going to be getting light into this base, we're just going to be using lanterns. I mean, we are going to have some industrial lights in here, but the majority of this base is just going to be lit up by lanterns. So I'm going to start fixing this place up a bit. Another thing that you want to do before I move on to the next stage, come into your shapes, go down to your catwalks, and we're going to grab this corner right here, place that right there, just like that. Come back into your catwalk shapes, grab this catwalk V2 railing, only end right. And then we're going to switch that around, place one right there like that, come back into your shapes, and then grab one going this way, catwalk V2 railing left only. And then we're going to come in here, place that in. So we're going to have a nice little catwalk railing coming around. And you can also like jump over here during horde night and like come down, get all your loot bags and whatnot. And you can just jump back over or whatever. So, okay, we're going to come down to this end. And then we're going to place another one right there like that. Come back to your catwalk shapes. Grab the catwalk V2 railing end right. And then switch that around just like that. Place one there, and then the last shape for this is just going to be the catwalk V2 rail only double cap. So grab that and just connect those two just like that. So that's going to give us our railings and everything. You're going to be able to come over here, jump over this edge, jump up on the ladder. You can come around here into this room. Basically everything you need to do. I'm going to put a border up on this window, and like I said, I'm just going to do all this painting and stuff, and I'll meet you when I'm done. So really quick, guys, I want to show you something so zombies don't try to path into your base through the sewer. When you come down, you're going to see here that I have my ladders going like this. So you're going to come down, you're just going to come over to this one. See how I have my ladder going like halfway up and then it crosses over just like that. So zombies aren't going to see this as a pathway. That way during horde night, you don't have to like break out the top 2 blocks and then replace them when horde night's over. You can just do this. And then when you climb up, you just kind of transition over just like that. So that's the way you're going to make it so that you can just come down in just like that, but zombies aren't going to see that as a path. All right, so your entrance part should be looking something like this, and this is just that medicine cabinet color. We got all of these pipes coming all the way down just like that. Everything looks nice and neat. We got this guy right here. Take him out. So yeah, that looks nice and neat right there. Feel free to come through the video and pause it if you want to, so you can like get all these different little details. And then once you come down this way, as you can see, we have this little office here. We're gonna head in there in a second. So yeah, all of these pipes are that medicine cabinet color. And then we'll go into the crafting room here. So feel free to take a look here at this crafting room. We got this pool table there. I think this came out really nice. We got everything we need for crafting and stuff over there. We got 4 cement mixers, got the chem station. A lot of these decorations are part of the mod that I downloaded, so the only way you're going to be able to get some of these is if you download the mod, which I'm going to link down below. And it's basically just a mod that adds some POIs to the game and stuff. And it also comes with furniture and stuff like that. I'll show you the ceiling right there. As you can see, I put those borders in, and then we have lanterns up in there. Security gate plate right there. So I think that looks good. Feel free to pause the video right here and do that setup. And then when you come up these stairs here, as you can see, I just painted all of this. I think that looks pretty good. I put these lights coming all the way down. We have this green color there, and then we also have this brick color. And then I also use that on the floor. Looks nice and clean. I put a light up right there. And then I just painted this room a little bit. Got the green color down there. It's kind of just like a border going down. We got the desk, little office here for security. So yeah, feel free to pause the video right here if you want to build this out. And then what we're going to do is come all the way down. So you're going to put 2 lights right there, and then put another one here, just going all the way down. So this is the fighting position. I think this looks really nice. Come all the way down. Everything here is painted. And I actually made this a smaller block right here. And you can still jump on it. So you jump up on this ledge and you can walk around. And then that kind of just ties it into this shape here, nice and neat. And another thing you can do is put that blade trap there, and then come down on the end and put that one right there. And then that kind of like evens them out a little bit better. So that's one thing you can do. I had the blade trap over there, moved it over a bit, and now when you look, they're nice and even going all the way down. So you're just gonna have to remove that ramp corner, place a pole in just like that. And then for the pipes, it's pretty much just that medicine cabinet color. Looks really nice. And then we got this room here. I'm pretty sure I've already showed you this, but I think this looks really nice as well. And then up top here, I did change this up a bit. This is just the cube corner bevel shapes. And then these are in the round section. You just flip one down, flip it upside down, and then you can place this big platform on it. And then you're gonna place 4 turrets coming out from every corner, just like that. As you can see, I cleaned up all of the streets and stuff, so I think that looks really good. I fixed up this section. So pause the video right here if you want to and just build it out looking like this. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys, for this video. If there's anything in this video that I didn't cover, leave a comment down below. I'm going to end the video right here, looking down at this garden. I cleaned up this whole area, so just feel free to pause the video right here. And what you can do is just try to build this out exactly the way you see it. And I think this came out really nice. This is just some extra garden space and stuff like that. And yeah, that's going to do it for this video, guys. If you made it this far, please like the video and subscribe. A video like this takes a little while to make, so I'd really appreciate it. Also, if you did build this base, please record it if you can and leave the link down in the comments. I would love to watch a video of your base and see how good yours looks compared to mine. That's something that I would really like to see, and I feel like a lot of you might not do that, but some of you might actually do that. So just download OBS, record yourself doing a base tour, and then link it down in the comments so I can see how yours came out. I would love to see that. So that's it for this video. Make sure you click the video up here in the corner if you want to see this base in full action, and I'll see you in the next one. Alright guys, peace out.